Alright, what's up everybody? This is 64 Beastie Man, and today we're looking at another Stephen Raichlen video. This is his video for Project Smoke for a smoked shrimp cocktail. This should be
Smoked shrimp
interesting.
cocktail. I've never understood the appeal of traditional shrimp cocktail. Boiling is a terrible way to boost flavor. But season the shrimp with garlic and cilantro and smoke it with mesquite. Now you have my interest. Serve it with a chipotle orange cocktail sauce from the Yucatan. Now that's a shrimp cocktail. First up, the marinade.
Yeah, I will say I'm not a big fan of putting cocktail on a shrimp. For some reason I just don't like adding ketchup to my foods, but that's just my opinion.
Start with chopped fresh cilantro, chopped garlic, and minced chipotle chilies. Now add a generous dose of sea salt, cracked black peppercorns, freshly
At least he's
squeezed
saying it's
lime
not
juice,
freshly grounded this time.
and finally extra virgin olive oil. For shrimp, I'm using these mighty U12s. That means there are only 12 shrimp to a pound. And I have
And of course, you keep them on an ice bed when about 5 minutes out in direct sunlight's not going to kill them.
peeled and deveined them. So spoon the marinade over the shrimp. You can see it's a really beautiful color and highly fragrant, and the chipotle will give this shrimp a really nice kick. Marinate the shrimp for 15 minutes. Now let's fire up the smoker. I'm using an electric smoker. It's fueled with these mesquite sawdust discs, and you simply place them in the hopper, set the desired temperature. I'm working at 300 degrees. Let's get the shrimp.
Okay, the electric smoker, I'm not sure what the price is, but it's probably a lot more expensive than regular grill smokers that you can get for about $300, $400.
The shrimp are marinated. Ideally, use local shrimp. In Florida, we get great Key West pinks. You could use Maine sweet shrimp, or if you're from the West Coast, you could use spot prawns. The last shrimp, and just pour any extra marinade you may have over the shrimp. And place the shrimp in the smoker. Smoking time, depending on the size of your shrimp, 30 to 45 minutes. Next, the Yucatan Chipotle Orange Cocktail Sauce. I first experienced this electrifying cocktail sauce in a seaside town in the Yucatan. Like American cocktail sauce, it starts with ketchup. Then you add freshly squeezed orange juice, freshly squeezed lime juice, Worcestershire sauce.
Hang on a minute. I'm not entirely sure if that orange juice is freshly squeezed because usually when I think of freshly squeezed orange juice, I think of just gripping an orange and squeezing it until the juice starts coming out.
And instead of the traditional horseradish, more chopped chipotle chili. Finally, salt and freshly ground pepper.
Oh my God, he said freshly ground pepper for that one. It's not even freshly ground. You just said earlier that it was cracked. You didn't say anything about freshly ground. So which is it? Is it been cracked and left out for 12 hours, or is it freshly ground? You can't have this both ways, Steve.
And whisk these ingredients to mix. All right. Just place the sauce in a serving bowl. So the shrimp should be ready. Check that out. Are those awesome or what?
Yeah, those
To check
actually
for
look pretty good.
doneness, just poke the shrimp. When they're firm, they're done.
Yeah, but you want to be careful because sometimes when you're cooking, those shrimp can get a little tough and feel like letters. So that's why it's important to, if you're grilling, just poke the shrimp to see how firm they are.
Then arrange the shrimp around the cocktail sauce.
I gotta say, that shrimp actually looks really good.
And just to finish up, you
go
can
for it.
sprinkle the shrimp with a little diced onion and a nice sprig of cilantro. Let's see how we did. Take some shrimp, dip it in the cocktail sauce. Oh man, I feel like I'm eating shrimp cocktail for the first time.
Yeah, and you dip the smallest bit of cocktail sauce onto the shrimp when normally people who eat shrimp cocktail will just dip 1 inch of it into the cocktail.
Well, the shrimp, it's not that rubbery boiled shrimp.
That way they can get that nice ketchupy taste when they go to bite the shrimp.
It has smoke, has texture, it has flavor, and the cocktail sauce, wow, this just sings. So the next time you make shrimp cocktail, blast it with smoke and chipotle hellfire.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, that shrimp actually does sound pretty good. I might go for the recipe, but I would not recommend an electric smoker. I mean, usually you can grill or smoke these shrimp to perfection with average, normal, everyday grills and smokes. Now, I'm a little bit curious with his reverse seared prime rib. I'm not sure if I did that video yet. God damn it.
Being phenomenal to me means...
Alright, hang on a bit. I hate this new double ad feature that they're doing on YouTube now.
Prime rib may be the most lavish piece of meat you ever purchase, so you may be surprised to learn that cooking a whole prime rib is monastically simple. The secret? A smoking technique called reverse searing.
Again, I'm not sure if I covered this video already, but just to be on the safe
I like
side.
to think of prime rib as the Mount Everest of smoking. It's magnificent, it's impressive, it's expensive, and everybody wants to conquer it. This is a whole prime rib, 7 bones, and 22 pounds of pure proteinaceous pleasure. The first step is to French the prime rib. Frenching means cutting the meat away from the ends of the bones. You remove this thick cap of fat. What you do is just with your boning knife come down, follow the bones, then take the knife and cut on one side of the bone and between the bones. Come up this side, and then using the tip of the knife, you just want to scrape the meat off the bones. Why do you French a prime rib? Well, first of all, for obvious aesthetic reasons. It looks great. It also makes it easier and cleaner to pick up the bones with your hands. By the way, save this chunk of fat. This is great for making Yorkshire pudding and greasing a grill grate when you go to grill steaks. Next, drizzle the prime rib with extra virgin olive oil.
Why
and
olive
rub the oil
in
into the meat.
Why not just use peanut oil, which has a higher smoke
The other
point?
side of the meat as well. Now generously, and I mean generously, season the meat with smoked salt or coarse sea salt. And this is oak smoked sea salt from right here in California. Okay.
Okay, that's a
And
weird
next,
flex for
season the
salt.
prime rib with freshly ground black pepper.
Again, that does not look freshly ground because there'd be more oil in the pepper cracks if that were the case.
Finally, Season the prime rib with garlic powder.
Even though I would have used McCormick for it, but whatever.
And that may be the most labor-intensive part of the whole preparation. Next, the smoker. To smoke the prime rib, I'm using a Memphis wood fire grill. It's Wi-Fi enabled, so you can control it with your phone.
Yeah, it's basically just technological shit that you don't really need.
It's fueled by these hardwood pellets made of compressed sawdust.
I mean, again, a normal grill would cost you about $300, $400. That's a hell of a lot cheaper than the types of grills that they get on Project Smoke.
I'm using oak, and you want to load the hopper. And let me show you how a pellet grill works. So this is the cook chamber, and if you just remove the grill grate, and then you lift this plate, and you can actually see the burn chamber. The pellets drop down that chute and produce both heat for cooking the meat and smoke. So what you want to do is grab the prime rib by the bones and set it in the middle of the smoker. The essence of reverse searing, it's a slow smoke to cook the prime rib through, then a hot sear at the end to crust the exterior. The beauty of the method, you cook the prime rib to the exact degree of doneness you want. I like 135. It's a perfect medium rare. Prime rib is traditionally served with horseradish sauce. Thought about it and thought, well, what if we took the horseradish and we folded it into unsweetened whipped cream? And then to reinforce the heat, we added mustard and hot sauce. You wind up with a 3 hots horseradish sauce that melts into the meat when you add a spoonful. It's really quite remarkable. The 3 hots horseradish sauce starts with unsweetened whipped cream. Add mayonnaise.
This is one thing I hate. If he's using regular mayonnaise, then I see it's not going to do much for it in the long run.
Prepared or freshly grated
I mean, if you add the mayonnaise into the whipped cream, it should still be fine.
horseradish, that's your first hot. Dijon-style mustard, that's your second hot. And hot sauce of choice, that's your third hot. And salt to taste. Whisk these ingredients to mix. We'll just take a taste.
Oh my god, he has the entire mixture nice.
That is a horseradish sauce with a kick. After 2 hours of smoking, the internal temperature should be around 110 degrees. Wow. Is that gorgeous or what? So,
yeah, it definitely looks like it has a
do
crispy skin to
is
it.
transfer the prime rib to a sheet pan. And now, this is the reverse part of the reverse searing. Increase the temperature of the smoker to 400 degrees. While the grill is heating, back to the roast. The next step is to loosely tent the prime rib with foil and let it rest for about 20 minutes. Now, you know how when you dish it...
Yeah, because that way it allows the prime rib to reabsorb the juices that could potentially be lost if you cut into it too early on.
Finally, roast a prime rib. You pull it off the grill, you let it rest for 20 minutes, it cools off, and so when you serve it, it's not as hot as you would like it. Well, another advantage of reverse searing, you let it rest now, Then you return it to the grill for the final sear. Then you can serve it hot off the grill. Wood smoke complements the luscious, sanguine flavor of prime rib perfectly. You've got a salty crust on the outside. You've got rare beef with all those wonderful, beefy, meaty flavors on the inside. And then the wood smoke ties it all together. So the prime rib has rested for 20 minutes, and 400 degrees, we're up to temperature. So put the prime rib back on the grill for its final high temperature sear. Cooking time about 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. So the final sear should be ready. Oh, look at that. Awesome. So we'll take the roast off.
And you might want to shut down the grill while you're at it.
So here's the prime rib. And another advantage of reverse searing, you don't need to let the roast rest. So what I like to do to serve prime rib is, first of all, run the knife down the ribs and cut the ribs off the roast.
I mean, look at all that juice that's coming out. That's the flavor of the prime rib. So what he's telling you about not letting it rest because of reverse searing, just don't take his word for it. I'd still let it rest for 5 minutes just so these juices have a chance to get reabsorbed back into the meat, so that when you cut it later on, it won't make much of a mess on the cutting board.
Starting at one end, cut the prime rib into slices. Look at that. It's tender, moist. I am so excited about trying this.
And I mean, people say that he's the king of smoking. That's why he has his own cooking show on PBS. Like, really? I could go to YouTube right now, search up grilling and reverse searing, and I guarantee you I could find 10 grillers who could do this better than he does.
Here's your prime rib and a spoonful of the 3 Hots horseradish sauce. And the moment I've been waiting for. The first thing you notice is the smoke flavor, because prime rib usually isn't smoked. It's incredibly tender thanks to that long, slow smoke, great crust, and then the 3 Hots horseradish sauce. It's so multi-dimensional with the mustard and the hot sauce. Incredible.
I mean, basically a couple things I would change about that, but all in all, his dishes are not too terrible. They're just not too shabby. I mean, if I was a professional griller, I'd probably be fuming at what he's doing, but for the most part, as somebody still learning how to cook all this shit, Stephen Raichlen, I would not recommend him.